We're here at the Silco Theater in Silver City, New Mexico as part of the Gila Centennial celebrations. The Gila Wilderness, the world's first wilderness area, was designated on June 3rd, 1924, so it turns 100. Today we're here at the Silco as part of the Centennial Speaker Series. So we've got a number of different conversations with different people who are associated with the wilderness, talking about what it means to celebrate the wilderness, problems with the wilderness designation, why we love the Gila, and most importantly, articulating a vision for the next 100 years of wilderness protections. The Gila Wilderness is just over 500,000 acres, starting just north of Silver City. It's in both Grant County and Catron County here in southwest New Mexico. I think the Gila Wilderness is worthy of celebrating always. I think part of the way that we can do that, and part of what conversations have been like this week around the Centennial, is just really thinking about what we need to do for the next 100 years to ensure that the Gila is protected. You know, some of the conversations that have happened today in this speaker series that's sort of like about wilderness philosophy have been around the threats that this landscape was experiencing in 1924 when it was designated as the world's first wilderness. And at that time, it was mostly roads. Like, automobiles were pretty new to the landscape. Everyone wanted to go on these like adventurous auto tours. And people started to recognize that if we don't protect these places from the incursion of roads and other developments, they're going to be gone eventually. So that was really the motivation for protecting the Gila Wilderness 100 years ago. The threats that we're facing now are really different. We have climate breakdown and biodiversity collapse, and so I think a lot of these conversations are thinking like, what do we do to ensure that these landscapes can survive and thrive for the next 100 years in a way that adequately protects them for those threats that they're facing now in the 21st century. One of the things that's so exceptional about the Gila is it's the headwaters of the state's only last wild river. The Gila River is free-flowing still. It's one of the West's last free-flowing rivers, and it's also primarily a snow-fed river. So a lot of the predictions for this part of the world are decreased snowpack over the next 30, 50, 100 years. So thinking about what that means for rivers and waterways, which are really the lifeblood, especially here in high desert ecosystems. So yeah, climate breakdown is definitely the highest threat that we're facing now. The organization I work for is called Wild Earth Guardians. We've had a long-standing campaign to protect the Gila. There are a lot of other local and state organizations, New Mexico Wild, the Upper Gila Watershed Alliance, the Heart of the Gila, and you can get involved in lots of different ways. Like the Heart of the Gila, for example, runs a lot of on-the-ground restoration projects, so if you actually want to get out onto the ground and experience the Gila that way and do some work to protect and restore it, that's a great way. You can volunteer with that organization. You can sign petitions to elected officials, letting them know that you want to ensure that the Gila is protected for the next 100 years. But any of those organizations, I would say, is a great place to start.